2nd of November, Rabbi Moore, Parsha Hashavua told us.
Hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, Rabbi.
Good. Right. Okay. Hopefully, teething problems from yesterday will not recur. Okay.
Meir's wife is in surgery now.
Oh, Hashem Yishlach lo refuah shalema.
So
What
it's
is her name?
Sarah Tikva Bas Yehudis.
Sarah Tikva Bas Yehudis. Hashem should be refuah shalema. Is the
Amen.
operation on what?
An operation, yeah. It's she has cancer.
Uh-huh. So they're removing something or what?
Yes. I'm not sure the details of exactly what they're doing. They've been treating her for a while now, and apparently it spread. So they couldn't do the surgery because it was too widespread, but they managed to get rid of it in a lot of places. So now they can do the surgery.
I understand. Okay. Sarah Tikva Bas Yehudis. Hashem should send her refuah shalema.
Amen.
Okay. Now, where were we up to?
According to my bookmark, we're on Chaf Hey Chaf Gimel.
Right. Okay, let's go from there.
All right. Vayomer Hashem La. Hashem said to her, Shnei Goyim Bevit Nech. 2 nations are in your womb. Shnei Leu Mi Me Hayich Yi Paredu. And 2 nations are separated within you. Ula Om Mil Om Ye'ematz. And 1 nation will be mightier than the other. The Rav Yavor Tarich. But the greater one will serve the smaller one. Okay, so Rashi says on the phrase Vayomer Hashem La, Hashem said to her, Al Yidei Shaliach, through an intermediary. Shem Ne'emar.
Now,
Ruach.
remember, that's interesting. The Shem Ne'emar Baruch HaKodesh. Because don't forget, first of all, in the previous pasuk it said, "Vatelech lidrosh es Hashem." Right? Rashi said, "Vatelech lidrosh lebeis madrasha shel Shem." Lidrosh es Hashem, sheyagid lo ma tehei b'sefer. What's going to be with that? In other words, she didn't directly speak to Hashem. She went to seek out advice from somebody who was close to Hashem. Okay.
So l'shem ne'emar beruach hakodesh, that Shem was told through divine inspiration. Who Amar La, and he told her.
Right. Now, don't forget. Remember, we had this discussion where you asked me then why Hashem didn't speak directly to Sarah. about when she laughed. He told Avram.
Right.
So I suggested, I still have not, it's still in the parameters of a suggestion, that could be that Hashem never talks directly to women. Even though there's such a concept of nevuah by women, he never speaks directly to them. So this would also be, Rashi's also made pointing this out as well over here. We should not be misled to think Hashem spoke directly to Rivka. I don't know. I'm just throwing out the suggestion. Okay.
Well, that would lead me to question. I've heard it said that Sarah was at a greater level of nevuah than Avraham. If
That is true.
she spoke to her,
Nevuah doesn't mean directly conversing with Hashem.
what does it mean?
Nevuah means receiving a vision from Hashem and perceiving what is Hashem's will, or what Hashem or the future are going to be in a particular thing. But the level of perception is what the nevuah is.
Her level of perception was greater, even though Hashem didn't.
Yeah, then correct. But it doesn't mean that she actually conversed with Hashem. Okay.
Two nations are in your womb. Ge'im kasiv kamo ge'im.
With an aleph.
Ge'im with two yuds is written like Ge'im with an aleph and a yud.
Which means two nobles, two people of high caliber.
Ge'im with an aleph means a prince.
Tell you how I translated it. Yeah. Aristocrats.
That's
aristocratic.
And that's what the one with an aleph means, aristocrat?
Yes. Comes from the Lashon Geim. Hashem Gemul al Geim. People who are haughty, elevate themselves unlawfully, unrightfully. But that's what that means in that sense. But here it can mean generally a person is somebody who's of a high level of nobility. Okay.
So I'm confused here. It says goyim, and Rashi says it's written as geim.
Right, because the word when it's written in the Torah, you look in your Chumash, you'll see it's written Gimel Yud Mem.
It is. In my Chumash, it's written Gimel Vav Yud Mem.
But it has no indication that it's written differently in the Torah. It's pronounced Goyim, but it's written Gimel Yud.
It's got a little circle, and when you go to the circle, it says Gimel Yud Yud Mem Kasiv.
Correct.
Ah, I see. Okay, so, and where does the Gimel Aleph Yud Mem come in?
So it's written Gimel Yud Mem, which is equivalent of Gimel Aleph Yud Mem.
Oh, I see. Okay, that's pretty tricky. Okay, got it.
Okay.
Let's see. Rashi continues. Elu Antoninos
Antoninus Berebi.
Berebi. This refers to
This refers
Antoninus
to
and Rebbe.
Antoninus and Rebbe. Now, Antoninus was not Mark Antony. I don't know who he was otherwise in the Roman imperial line. Okay, but he was a Roman emperor, and he was a colleague. I mean, had a very close relationship with Rebbe, who was the Rabbeinu HaKadosh of Yehuda Anossi, one who compiled the Mishnah, one who wrote down the Mishnah, and he was the leader of the Jewish people at that time. So Rashi's pointing out over here, both of them were of a high level of nobility. Shelo pasku mal shulchanam. Carry on.
It says in my footnote that Antoninus descended directly from Esau.
Correct. We'll see. And Rabbi descended directly from Yaakov.
Right. Shelo pasku me'al shulchanam, that there never lacked from upon their tables, lo tzenon velo kazeres, neither radish nor lettuce, lo vimos hachama velo vimos hageshamim, neither during the days of the sun, nor during the days of the rain.
Okay. Yimos Hachama is a phrase, a euphemism for summer. Yimos Hakshomim, that's a euphemism for winter. So Yimos Hachama, Yimos Hakshomim means not in summer nor in winter. Meaning they were of such so wealthy, both of them, that they could afford and they were able to procure snoin and chazeres through the entire year, during the whole year.
Interesting.
Even though it was out of season,
Press.
even though it was out of season, they managed to procure it and have it on their table.
It's an interesting way to express the idea that they're wealthy. You could have said, you know, each of them owned treasure houses of silver and gold or something like that.
Right. Yes, it is interesting.
It would seem to me to imply that they were not show-offs. They were not ostentatious. They used their wealth for practical benefit, but not to show off how wealthy they were.
That's true, right? But on the other hand, but there was where do you see in this statement that they were both rich?
Well, like you say, they weren't dependent upon the seasons. They could import the food from halfway
As
around.
you said, you're right. It was they on one hand went ostentatious, but on the other hand they made sure they had good food the whole year round.
Right. Shnei lu'umim, and two nations.
By the way, the Gemara says an interesting thing, that when Rebbe died, he lifted up his little finger and he says, even this amount I have not been benefited from this world.
That's interesting.
So the Mepharshim explained that Pshat is for himself, he didn't have any benefit whatsoever. But for his guests and for his household or whatever, he made sure that they had plenty.
Ein la'om ella malchus. The word la'om only refers to kingdom. Okay, so
Right.
Le'umim only refers to kingdom.
Right, means
Me,
when it
hey,
says Shnei Goyim bebitner, okay, Shnei Le'umim, they're both of royalty, of sovereignty.
right. Me Aich Yiparedu. Will separate from within you. Min ha-me'ayim,
Meaning Me'ayim.
haim nifradim. Ze l'risho, v'ze l'sumo. From the womb,
Already from the womb.
they
From
were
the womb,
separated. This one for evil, this one for righteousness.
okay, Tuma doesn't exactly mean righteous, it means more he was Yaakov Avinu was known for his straightness. Yaakov Ishtam Yoshev Ahalim, as we're going to see later on. Pasuk Chav Zayin. The main difference in character was not. This goes back to the old question: was there no free choice in the matter? Meaning, did Esav have free choice to be a tzaddik or a rasha? Did Yaakov have a free choice to be a tzaddik or a rasha?
It seems to be contradictory. There seems to be a stira in the Torah here, because we have what we just read, and we also have the earlier statement that I think in the Midrash that when Rivka Imenu would walk.
Rashi quoted it before. Rashi
Right.
quoted it before.
Right.
On Pasuk
So
Chav
we have
Beis.
that, but on the other hand, if you look at verse 27, which we're almost up to, on the phrase Vayigdalu
Vayigdalu Anahorim, yes.
Vayehi Esav, they grew up and Esav became. Rashi says, as long as they were little, they were indistinguishable by their deeds, and no one could know the exact character. Once they turned
Right.
13, Yaakov went his way to houses of study, and the other went his way to worshiping idols. So that seems to imply that they were not predisposed.
Right. So you have to say as follows. And this, in fact, I wanted to also dwell on this idea of, this I heard from my Rebbe, Moshe Shapira, as a bracha, why Rashi Dafka chooses the example of Antoninus and Rebbe. I mean, they've been greater Romans and been greater Jews, been wealthier. Shlomo HaMelech was the wealthiest Jew that ever lived. I don't know if he made it to Forbes, but anyway. But why Rashi takes the example of Antoninus and Rebbe? So he wanted to explain as follows, and this is actually the Shem Mishmuel says this concept, this idea. Esav, what we say, that's what he says. Even though Rashi actually uses the term over here, Zeh l'rishoi. But as far as Yaakov is concerned, it says V'zeh l'tumoi. Rashi doesn't say V'zeh l'tzidkoi. We have to understand that Esav in his character was much more materialistic, this worldly. he was, when he was born, that's was Esau. He was like a already fully made man. He was, how shall I say it? By his natural thing, he was much more attached to materialistic things. Means he didn't have much of a, what they call in I don't know how there's a word for it in English. In Yiddish, you say Sitzfleisch. Sitzfleisch means he didn't have much ability to concentrate on learning, to be able to sit. And he was naturally, I can't say lustful is the right word, but naturally more drawn to enjoying this world. Okay? Not for spiritual, not cut out for spiritual pursuits. Whereas Yaakov was a sit-at-home guy, didn't like necessarily going out hunting. And that was his natural thing. However, when they were kids, when they were children, even though Yaakov may have had this natural tendency to be more studious, but he also got up to pranks, right? Don't forget they were twins. Was probably got up to, like all twins do, they got up together, we're going to make a prank on the Rebbe, right? And I don't know what they did, whatever. But the Maisa, Yaakov also had a, should we call it a wild side to him. And Esav had he's also was complying to whatever his father was telling him to do. Go to the Rebbe, an Aleph base, whatever. They pretty much had a similar education till the age of 13. However, when it came to the age of 13, when they started maturing, then each one's into the fore. Okay? Now, did that predestine Esau to be a Rasha? No. And this is, as we know, Lamashal, we have an example among the children of Yaakov. There was Issachar and Zvulun. Issachar was the very studious type. Zvulun liked to go seafaring. And he was like a businessman. He liked to go out. But what happened was that Zvulun, though he realized he wasn't necessarily cut out to be the most studious type, but he said, listen, you know what? I'm going to make money, and I'm going to not only provide for myself, I'm going to provide for Yisachar as well. And we're going to make a partnership. Yisachar will totally devote himself to spiritual pursuits, to learning Torah, and I'll support Yisachar, and this way we'll have a good partnership, and we'll get an equal share. I'll get an equal share in Yisachar's learning. And that's what they did. Says the Shem Shmuel, that really was what had, should we say, what should or could have been had Esau not decided to misuse his, should we say, his outgoing abilities, instead of using it purely for himself and selfishly. But if Yitzhak had used it in the right way, he would have ended up being like a Zebulun. So the relationship between Esav and Yaakov would have been like a Yisachar-Zvulun relationship. Now, says Shem Shmuel, the one time in history, obviously the Asad Lava, when Mashiach comes, it will also be in that way. But the one time in history that there was an ideal relationship between Esav and Yaakov was Antoninus and Rebbe. Because Antoninus, he was totally subservient to Rebbe, in a way that Shani said, Rebbe, whatever you need, I'll take care of you totally.
Hello, Aaron. How are you?
Fine, thank you. What year are we up to now?
We're on Rabbi Moore, Parsha Shavua. Rabbi
Okay.
Moore is having trouble with his internet, so we're waiting him to reconnect. We are up to, we're in Toldos, and we're up to chapter 25, verse 23.
Okay. Very good. Thank you for the directions.
No problem.
Okay. Yes, Rabbi Moore gives a nice Parsha Shavua. That's what I remember from last year.
Yep.
Okay. Beautiful day today.
Oh, I haven't been out.
What?
I haven't been out yet.
Oh, okay. Winter's not here yet. It's to start raining soon, but not yet. Okay. So we're waiting for Rabbi Moore. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I'll be patient.
All we can do, be patient.
You now live on Sholem Melech?
Yes, Shahol Melech 39.
And you're comfortable there?
It's great. We love it. We own it. We bought it, which is nice.
Very nice.
Doing a lot of fixing up that we didn't really want to do in our old place because it was rented.
Okay.
Making it our own.
So
Hello.
Hello, Rabbi
Hello,
Moore.
hello.
I can hear you. I can't see you.
I know now you.
Now I can see you. Yes.
the new boy on the block.
No.
Aaron Heimwood.
This
Yeah, I
is
don't
Aaron
know.
Heimwood, who's joining us by phone.
Sorry, I don't. You sound very. I don't hear you clearly. The sound is not clear. You're speaking. Oh. Hello.
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 I'm here.
Hello. Do you hear me?
I hear you.
Yes, I hear you.
Oh, 1 second. You hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So then I'll speak. I'll continue speaking. Shalom Aleichem to our guests. 9727744209995. Okay.
That's
We're having the pleasure of. I know that. That's all right. I'm fully aware of that. Yes. Okay, I'm going to continue. I don't hear you well. I don't know if you hear me well.
I
I
can
don't
hear you fine.
you. Yeah, but your hearing you is very like actually so it's more than crackly. It's staggered. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Okay. Anyway, I can't remember where I lost you.
You were explaining that Esav was not
Yeah,
wicked.
So Antoninus, I was saying that Antoninus and Rebbe was the one time in history where there was the desired relationship between Esav and Yaakov existed, i.e., that Esav was going to act like Zvulun, and Yaakov would be the Yisachar. That's how Shem Shmuel says that was the ideal situation, how Esav and Yaakov would live side by side. And Esav would be able to use his worldly, outgoing those characteristics, and he would use it for Avodas Hashem by doing business, going out into the world, and making money, and using having a partnership with Yaakov, that he would provide sustenance to Yaakov, and Yaakov, he would have a share in Yaakov's learning, in his spiritual pursuits, and this way they would have a fair partnership. Problem is that Esau misused it, and he used it only for himself. He wasn't willing to have this partnership with Yaakov. Okay?
Okay, so moving along, Milom Ye'ematz will be mightier than the other. Lo
Right.
Yeshvu,
Yishbu b'gedula.
they will not be equally great. Shezeh kam zeh nofel. That when this one rises, this one will fall. V'chein hu omer, and similarly it is written, imal a hacharava, I shall be filled by her that is destroyed. Lo,
By the destroyed one.
by the
V'nismalet tzor elo mechurbono shel Yerushalayim. That Tzor only became Tzor was a big Roman town in Lebanon, and it only became inhabited, or became a great town, great city, elo mechurbono Yerushalayim, as a result of the destruction of Yerushalayim. Meaning, I don't know whether the exiles went there, or stamp that's HaKadosh Baruch Hu brought about events that when Yerushalayim was destroyed, and therefore the greatness of the Jewish people was diminished, then Tzor became a great city. In other words, it was like a yo-yo. When Jewish people were on a high level, and they were famous and great, then the Rome was unknown. But when the Jewish people, the fall of the Jewish Empire, then came the rise of the Roman Empire.
And
Okay.
here was filled up
We got time for one more.
with descendants of Esau.
Sorry, Tzor was filled with the descendants of Esau. Yes.
Right.
Sorry.
I said correct. I agree.
Okay, very good. Okay, so do you want to do the time for another pasuk?
Okay. V'yim le'u yamecha laledes v'hinei tomim b'vitnah. So when her days of pregnancy were completed, behold, there were twins in her womb. Rashi says, "Ve'yim la'u yameha." Her days were completed. Aval be'samar.
It went for a full term.
What?
That means she had a full term pregnancy, full 9 months.
Right.
That's what it means.
Right. But Tamar, it's written, Vayihi be'es lid ta. When it was the time to give birth. Shalo mal'u
It doesn't say Vayimlu Yomer. It doesn't say Vayimlu Yomer. So therefore, that's what Rashi says.
He l'shiv'a chadashim v'lada sam. For she gave birth after 7 months.
Okay, which is also, it's interesting. We don't have such a Metzius nowadays. But there was a concept of those in those days that there could be a pregnancy, a healthy pregnancy, but it would not last the full 9 months. It would only last into the 7th month.
Right. Vihine tomim. Behold, there were twins. Chaser. It's written missing an aleph. Tomim is missing an aleph. Uvesamar.
Right.
Whereas concerning Tamar, Tomim Malay, the word Tomim is full. It has the aleph. Lefi Nehem Tzadikim, because both of them were righteous. Aval Khan Echad Tzadik ve'Echad Rasha. But here, one is righteous and one is a Rasha.
Right. So therefore, there weren't. In other words, to Omim is only written when the both of them are the same, both equal. But one is a tzaddik, one is a rasha, then the Torah doesn't write them as to Omim, because they're not exactly equal. There's something lacking in their twinness, if you want to call it that way. Okay?
Yep.
Okay, I think we'll stop here. This Hashem will carry on tomorrow. Okay?
All right.
I still haven't had the name of this new participant.
Aaron Heimler.
Hello?
Aaron Heimowitz.
Sorry, Aaron?
Heimowitz.
Oh, Heimowitz. I'm sorry. I was saying.
Oh, Aaron, how are you?
Yes,
Aaron,
you
how are
remember.
you?
I'm fine. I remember you
Sure,
as
I
a
remember.
Brit who did a good job. That's what I
Okay,
remember. You
because-
did a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm
Tell
back.
me,
I'm back.
you're here, obviously, I see
I'm here on
you're back in
Aliyah.
Eretz Yisrael.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Oh,
sir.
Baruch
You
Hashem,
shall.
very good. Maybe we can see your face next time.
Okay, I'm working on it. I'm working on it. Okay.
Okay, very
Aaron?
good. Okay, good to hear from you. Be
Aaron,
well.
Both.
Aaron, do you
Yes,
want
what's
to attend Rabbi Fairman's class?
Is that the next one?
Yeah, it's from 2 to 3.
Okay, so how do I get onto it?
All right, you need to call him because he uses a different system.
Okay. I'll
So
call him before 2 o'clock.
You have his number?
Yes, I have his
I
number.
wish you well.
Okay, very good.
Both. Thank you for your help, Lou. I appreciate it. Sure. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.